Thank you, Chairman, giving me this very difficult task, especially today in this financial crisis. So what can I do now? It sounds like you're going to make money with the Green Award. Well, I like to put it a little bit differently, because you can only get that money if you do something, and that's what my presentation is about. First, I'd like to go back to the first session this morning. There were four things. Two things is the message from Mr. De Ruiter about the European action on LNG fuel, which I welcome very much, or our Green Award Foundation welcomes very much. Good step. Then, Kubo, the message of SOS. Did you sign up already? Did you write your letter already? Please do. I'm going to do that during lunch, so I see you over lunch. But what intrigued me, and that has everything to do with the Green Award Foundation, that is the presentation from Clay Maitland, from NAMEPA, and the presentation from, a difficult name, Dimakopoulos, from Maran Tankers. I see the link between HSE and the link between the ISM code. I have nothing to do with drilling rigs. I don't know anything about drilling rigs, but I think I know something about the ISM code, and I think I know something about HSE. And what intrigues me is, actually there would be a question for Captain Dimakopoulos. Does he see over those years that the human capital, and that's what we're actually talking about, that the human capital leads, this action on human capital leads to better retention of the crew on the company? And that is an interesting figure, because I think this is the key to a good implementation of the ISM code. The people on board, the people at the company. So hopefully we get an answer later today on that one. So my name is Fransen, Managing Director of the Green Award Foundation, working from day -2, so I was involved with the project startup. I'm going to explain what is Green Award, I'm going to explain who are we, why are we there, how do we do our work, what are the results, and what will be the future. Green Award is just another certifying organization. So we are not a recognized organization like classification societies. We are totally independent, a non-profit organization. And we certify ships and shipping companies on the main pillars: quality, safety and environment. What makes the Green Award special? That is that we have a network of stakeholders, partners to our program. They are mainly ports, but also marine service providers, as we call them. And these people, they like to motivate, together with us, they like to motivate the shipping industry to make a step ahead. They like to identify with us who are the front runners in the industry. So they are prepared to issue an incentive to the ships or the ship owners that are Green Award certified. And of course, not strange enough, we heard it already this morning, the Green Award is of course about continuous improvement. Certifying organization, non-profit, totally neutral, independent, and we think this scheme should always be a voluntary scheme. Long time ago we heard voices in Europe that they would like to use the Green Award as an entry ticket to Europe. Well, we fight it against that, because of course commercially it would be an easy job for us, but then you lose the commitment of the participants. So it has to be a voluntary system. When you see our governance, the committee, the board of directors, the board of experts, there the industry is involved. BIMCO, Intertanko, etc. They're all involved in this foundation. The structure, the top three is the committee or board of directors, and then we have a board of appeal and a board of experts. They together govern the foundation. And for example, Intertanko, BIMCO, SIGTO, OCIMF, and of course I forget a few, the ports, P&I clubs, they all are involved with this governing of the foundation. The bureau, that's the lower part, that's the one I'm heading together with my colleagues. And there we have a differentiation between survey and auditing, as we call it, certification, research and development, and then of course the management. The stakeholders, as I mentioned, they provide an incentive. The majority of those incentive providers, as we call them, they are ports. We also have a bank, or actually we now have 2 banks that provide an incentive, two pilot organizations and several other marine service providers. And this, together, this will lead to recognition of your organization, as well from the incentive provider and the shipping company in the industry. Well, sorry for the mix-up of the words, because the technical elements on the layout of the screen that mixed up the letters a little bit. But these are the 27 ports that participate in the Green Award. And you can see there are some in North America, there are a few in Asia, that's only New Zealand, if we can call it, most should call it Australasia, South Africa, and then the majority in Europe. We see and we expect that more ports will join, but this is a very, very, very difficult task to get them saying yes, we give an incentive. Marine service providers, there's also a list there. You see the bank, ABN AMRO Bank in seagoing shipping. It's also the Rabobank nowadays in inland shipping. But also IBS Marine Consulting Group joined us recently, and there are several more parties participating. And even RightShip as a vetting database, well known I guess amongst you, is also having a link with the Green Award. You gain extra 15 points in their vetting scheme, and I understand that you have 25% of the points in their environmental scheme. So that's a link. Why is the Green Award there? Well, I worked for first of all, I have been a seafarer, like many others here. But secondly, I've been working for the Dutch government and later on for the Rotterdam Port Authority. I was a casualty officer there. And there we had a project running already in the early 90s about how can we improve the quality of shipping? How can we reduce the risk of ships, and not only ships, also from our industry, in port. And why did we do that? Because we got so much pressure from the society and the politicians that we had to clean up our port. And that's where this program started. Improve quality of shipping, stimulate quality improvement, and improve the environmental awareness. Reduce the risk, ban substandard shipping. Very idealistic, but actually that's what we want to do. How do we do it? We have our own program based on IMO regulations, based on industry best practice, and that's what we audit and certify, as well in your office or on board of your ship that you apply with. It's about continuous improvement, as I said, and regularly, let's say at average every 3 years, we upgrade our requirements, and last September we issued our new requirements, and you can, of course, you can guess what will be the hot topic there: air emissions, as it already the whole morning. But not only air emissions, also crewing issues, also maintenance, also these elements are changed. And here I'd like to mention that 2 weeks ago, I think, the first Greek company already participating for long had their new office audit on the new requirements, and we thought that they wouldn't pass on the new air emission requirements. And guess what? They had a very high score. So that is being a front runner. That is being an organization having a view, having a vision on the future, which is also actually said by several others, and also Catherine Palmer just now. Look ahead. 3 main pillars are the base for our certification: quality, safety, and environment. We think quality and safety will lead to a protection of the environment. You cannot do without that. They're all interrelated. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it is your ACDIS, we have seen already ACDIS assisted near-miss strandings in the Danish Straits with an Aframax oil tanker. So it is also the people. The people, it's the people what it is about. These guys will make or break your company. And you can have a nice EEDI, you can have a nice high-tech ship, you can have scrubbers or whatever. If these people are not the right people, there's the link from Clay with Maran tankers. If these people are not the right one, forget it. What do we certify? Crude oil and product tankers starting from 10,000 ton deadweight. Mind you, if your tanker is 10,000 ton deadweight, you need to have an inert gas installation. We insist on that. Dry bulk carriers, and since recent, LNG carriers. Seagoing ships will be audited every year. The office of the company will be audited every 3 years, and the certificates are valid for 3 years. So after 3 years you have to comply with a new higher standard. And that's done in an economical way, so we're not going to squeeze you on a very high standard. No, we monitor what is feasible, what is possible. So we do it in a realistic way. And of course we get that from our boards. Also recently, in April, we started with inland shipping in Europe, and that's a total different culture in transport. So we cannot do the same way, the same kind of audits. Here we have a simple audit on board, only once every 3 years, and it's only about emissions. Well, the amount of ships, not that many. Only 225 seagoing ships are certified now. We have 30 more to go to finalize. Maybe interesting to mention that we just started the LNG carriers, and we already have 5 companies that enrolled their organization with 9 LNG carriers. Next week we are going to issue the first certificate. Inland shipping, that went very fast, 50 ships already certified, and we still have 9 to finalize. What are the advantages for the ports? Those marine service providers and the marine service providers. Quality ships, increase of quality ships, reduce risk, a tool to address corporate social responsibility, also mentioned by Maran Tankers this morning, increase of efficiency, and maybe a shorter visiting period of the ship to port, because the interaction and the quality of the crew, the quality of the ship, that has a better turnaround time in port. Yes, we are not the only one doing this kind of work. Well, this specifically, we are the only ones, but slowly you see more initiatives starting, and we think it's time to collaborate. It's really time to collaborate, because otherwise we get a wide spread of all kinds of incentive programs, all kinds of requirements, all kinds of audits, and that only will conflict, and that will be not motivating for the shipping company and the crew. So, as an example, a few months ago we enrolled, or we had an official agreement with the World Port Climate Initiative and the IAPH, International Association of Ports and Harbors, and we integrated the Environmental Ship Index, their project, in the Green Award program. And I can say now, our doors are open for other parties. Please, let's sit together and let's make one global system. We don't want losers. This system is about winners. So we should have winners. Just an example, a study by the Erasmus University by Dr. Knapp about port state control. She did a study on serious casualties and the probability of a ship involved in a serious casualty. And there she found out that the Green Award certified ships, that tells something about all these owners, are really having less risk. Equations database, annual report last year. There you also will see from the vetting organizations, and also the Green Award is mentioned there, and there you will see that we are doing pretty good. It's the detention rate versus inspection rate. We had a pop-up, some detentions were there, but these ships are now out of the system, because we also cancel certificates. Advantages for the ship. Charter preference, question mark. It's starting. Continuous improvement. We are a third party, another eye out of the industry, in fact. Another eye looking to your systems. We heard about lower insurance premiums. I cannot reveal that. It's not formal, but we heard it happens. But the most important is maybe the 4 last bullet, motivation and pride of the crew. For us, the crew is essential in the whole system. Future. The first 3 extended requirements is missions, LNG carriers, inland barges. I already mentioned that. We started with that already. Hopefully this year we will start with chemical tankers. In 2012 we might start with container ships. And we are quite far established with our program to start a branch office together with one of the countries in the Middle East, to have a branch office in the Middle East, and that will mean lower inspection costs for you. And it means for us a better coverage of inspections, and it means a better marketing, so that also might mean more ports joining in this program. Hopefully November, December we have an official announcement on that one. Also, we are working on a branch office in Asia. I cannot say which country that is, but we are in serious contact to do the similar thing like we do in the Middle East in Asia. And then we're coming close to this worldwide network of partners, especially when we collaborate with other systems. This is a picture I used last week at the APEC conference in San Francisco. We think ports have a pivotal role in this whole process. They are the spider in the web of the whole transportation chain. They can actually motivate you, they can motivate us, but they can also motivate the industry to make things happen, to go to corporate social responsibility. And an incentive, and sorry, you won't get rich, but an incentive, like an incentive of 5% reduction on your port fee in the port of Sohar, that will not cover the cost of a scrubber. No, never. It also will not be real big money. But it helps you to make that extra step, especially when it's also in Rotterdam 6%. That's by coincidence, that is real money, but the port fees are very high there. But all these little incentives, they help to make that step forward. So the ideal situation is, yes, it is a network of ports and other partners to participate who like to go for this environmental issue, who likes to go for quality shipping. So the support of the ports and the stakeholders by incentives is very essential. The more partners, the better the result. A joint industry tool to corporate social responsibility. Not the program, but the whole program, everything together, the whole process, ports, service providers, companies, shipping companies, inland barges, the whole process is corporate social responsibility. That's ISO 26000. And I like to make this comment. How important in competition will green credentials will be? We heard it already a little bit this morning, but I think the green credentials of your ship or your shipping company, they will become very, very important in competition. I think I'm obliged to mention which companies are participating in Greece. And I like to do that because they're participating for long, and we are proud on that. For long, Greece was #1 in the Green Award. Unfortunately, it's taken over now by another country, but it's not about that. But Aegean Bulk, Arcadia Ship Management, Cavadoro, Gandris, Consolidated Marine Management, Delta Tankers, Maran Tankers, Sun Enterprises, and Thenemaris Ship Management. These are already participating for long. And I can say today, or last week it happened, Maran Tankers is, with the amount of ships, #1 in the Green Award since last week. Thank you very much, and welcome on board.
Thank you.